Okay, we talked about center and spread in the previous video. This one talks about shape. And to figure out shape, really, you're trying to figure out whether something is normal or whether it's not normal. And there's two different ways to do that. For proportions, you have to check to see if there are 10 or more successes and 10 or more failures. So what that means is you have to go ahead and do that calculation and make sure that the sample size times the probability of success is greater than or equal to 10, and the sample size times the probability of failure is greater than or equal to 10. If both of those are true, you're talking an approximately normal distribution. Now with means, there's kind of a checklist to follow through. The first thing you say is if the population is normal, all sizes of sampling distribution are normal. The next thing down is if our sample size is greater than or equal to 30, then the central limit theorem applies, and we're allowed to draw a conclusion that the sampling distribution is approximately normal. If your sample is between 15 and 29, you got to see a picture. Normal probability plot would look like a line. The histogram would be showing no strong skew, no outliers. If that's true, you can say that the sampling distribution is approximately normal. And then the last one is if you have a small sample size. You got to see a normal probability plot that looks like a line, or you got to see the data. So if you had a stem plot, it needs to be roughly symmetric, single peaked, with no outliers. So imagine that visually. You're going to end up with a graph that looks kind of like the, quote, normal curve. It's got to be symmetric, it's got to be single peaked, it's got to have no outliers. This is just a review. This is from your textbook. If you want to kind of have it as a reference, this is just what we deal with proportions. And then this is what we deal with means. So, again, working with the sampling distribution, here's how the questions are typically phrased. You're going to check the random condition first. You're going to states random, therefore I can determine the center. The mu of p hat equals p. The mu of x bar equals the real mu. You're then going to validate the 10n rule to determine independence. So your standard deviation can be calculated. Look at the formula sheet for that formula. So do that. Show it. Don't just say 10n is less than or equal to big N. Show the work. And then the shape. You're going to do the shape by checking those conditions from those previous slides. Again, you got to explicitly say it. I'm telling you, with this fact of not having calculator-based questions, my guess is it's going to have a lot of this stuff on it, and you want to make sure you understand it. Once you've done that, if you've got your center, you've got your spread, you've got your shape, you got a normal distribution with a mean and a standard deviation. Draw the picture. Label the mean. Label those standard deviations that you calculated. 3 up, 3 down. And then shade. Mark what it says in the problem and shade. Because I'm going to tell you, even though you may not have to use a calculator, using a picture might be the answer that they're looking for. So please kind of have that idea when you're working these sampling distributions. Now, upcoming. This is just for those, this will be kind of yesterday by the time many of you see this. I would definitely watch the Monday the 27th one. Without question, I'd watch the Monday the 27th one. Rubric grading FRQs. You need to see how we grade FRQs on this test. Mr. Mike and I have done it all year, but it's also kind of nice to hear someone else say it. Tuesday the 28th, it's your calculator. So for those of you that do have a calculator at home, you can watch that. Wednesday, top 10 exam tips. I will make sure I pull from that and have it available on our Google site. Know your formula sheet. We're going to spend a class period doing formula sheet. Thursday, the 30th, name that significance test. Probably important for many of you because it is the last thing we did and it's going to be on the test. It's 40% of the material. And then the last video they're going to have is going to be on May 1st. That's free FRQ Friday. As far as I know, that's when it's going to end with the review. I'll let you know if I hear anything else.